Use hashtag NFL now to get your questions on the show. Like Forgotten760, how many impending free agents will the Dallas Cowboys lose?
And you start, of course, with the three big names: Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, Byron Jones. Maybe end up losing Byron there. Tavon, Randall Cobb, also free agents at receiver. I think at least one of those guys is gone, possibly both of them. I think Michael Bennett is gone in free agency. Robert Quinn might become too expensive. I think the Cowboys want to bring back one of Quinn or Byron. We'll see if that ends up working out there. We'll see. I think Malik Collins is gone. We'll see about Antoine Woods, Christian Covington on the defensive tackle spot. Anthony Brown, C.J. Goodwin, also free agents along with Jeff Heath. Jason Witten is a free agent. You got three linebackers who are free agents. I think Sean Lee comes back in some form. Su'a-Filo coming off an injury. He's a free agent. They're going to lose guys this year.
Yep.
It's focusing on those big, I'll call them the big four: Dak, Amari, Byron, Quinn. You're going to lose at least one of those guys, I think.
Let's go to our next question here. I also want to give a shout out to Eric Burton. Says, love you guys. Eric, love you. Tell your friends to subscribe. Hashtag NFL, is Jared Goff safe for the Rams?
Yeah, the contract means they literally cannot get rid of him. He's not going anywhere.
Money talks.
They are tied to Jared Goff for the next few years. There's no chance he's gone.
Money talks. Let's go to Tyler Heeb. Get a picture. How realistic is it for the Lions to get Chase Young?
Not very.
You got to trade up.
You got to get to 2, and I don't know if the Redskins would be willing to trade down. I think the Redskins would stand pat. So Young would be great for Detroit. They tried really hard to get that number 2 overall pick, and I respect that. if you're Detroit, to get to the Redskins pick and to get Chase Young, I think it'd have to be given up. Obviously, your first, your second, and maybe a first and second next year too. Wow. So do you want to give up the core of your draft next year to move up one spot to get Chase Young?
I mean, when was the last time a team went for 3-2 to get a player that they wanted?
Well, yeah, but that was a different year. And I know you're alluding to Mitchell Trubisky and Solomon Thomas, but that was different.
Okay.
That was not a scenario where the team at 2 was clearly going to take the same player. So the Redskins are going to fall in love with Chase Young. I think that's the pick there.
All right,
so Detroit, I would love to see him there, but don't get your hopes up.
All right, so who's going to draft Chase Young? Is it the Redskins? If you think it's going to be the Redskins, type Redskins. If you think another team, though, is going to be able to trade up and get him, or if you think the Bengals will take him number 1 overall, I don't think that's going to happen. But let us know in the comments who will draft Chase Young, the defensive end, the edge rusher, out of Ohio State. Let's go to John Kim. Pass interference challenge rule gone in 2020. There's 2 things that I hope.
Let's hope.
Yes, and John, I hope you get a picture.
You can leave it reviewable in the final 2 minutes, but no. I don't see any reason to bring that back. It doesn't get overturned.
It's been terrible.
It's stupid.
It's been terrible. Let's go to, this is one of the most interesting names I've ever seen. Tomato Fighter, 3 zeros, XX2. Who should be the rookie of the year?
Kyler Murray. Offense. Bosa. Defense. I know you're going to push for Josh Jacobs. Close race there. He missed some time down the stretch, and Murray actually played very well in a bit of an under-the-radar job for Arizona because no one paid attention to them.
It's Bosa and it's Josh Jacobs for me. And if you guys want to bet on the Rookie of the Year, the MVP, you can do it at BetSized. They'll put out all those odds coming out next year as well. If you want to bet on playoff games, the NBA games, if you're into that, BetSized, the internet's #1 sports book. But the only way that you will get the 120% deposit bonus is by going to chatsports.com/bet and by using that promo code NFL120. I always like when people DM me that they got started and that they're betting. One of the guys I was talking to, K-Rock, he always watched the show. He said he's won $250 this year on BetSized. Get started. Let us know when you do well. We like to hear that stuff. Let's go to greatness of the Raiders.
For the Raiders question, shocking.
Yeah, with changing offense, coordinators and quarterbacks be the solution for the Raiders' stagnant offense.
I'll let you take this one.
I don't really think Derek Carr is the main issue there. I mean, your defense is the biggest issue. They've had a ton of injuries. Derek has never really had a #1 wide receiver. When he did have a #1 wide receiver, he had Crabtree and Amari when he was having his MVP caliber season. Derek Carr's an average quarterback. That's okay. But he's not their biggest issue, and I don't think going out and getting a quarterback in free agency or drafting a quarterback is going to make you better this year. You were 4-12.
Too far away from the top, I think.
You were 4-12 your first year under Gruden. You're 7-9. That's progress. I'll say it though, this entire year, 2020, man.
How about Jay Gruden? Bring him
I
in
wouldn't
as
mind
the
Jay
OC.
Gruden. I mean,
Okay.
I've never been a fan of Olsen, but
Okay.
Jay Gruden, there's been plenty of rumors around Jay Gruden joining the staff. So
Yeah.
let's go to John.
Rumors, you could say. They're back.
John Asplin Jr. Does the coaching hire decide whether or not the Panthers keep Cam Newton?
I guess it depends on what the front office and the structure
Would
of,
you guys
of,
keep
of,
Cam
of
Newton?
the organization looks like. Like Marty Herney's still there. To take on a lesser role, is he still the decider of the 53-man roster and the overarching game plan? Do they bring in a head coach and give him a large amount of player personnel power? The head coach will definitely have input, and I also think you'll have a situation where as you're interviewing guys and coach candidates, you're going to get their what they would do with Cam.
I would.
And I think most of them are going to say, let's roll it back one more year and then go from there.
I think the only way Cam Newton doesn't come back is if Kyle Allen's dad's hired as the head coach. So let's go to Devot. Any chance Dan Quinn gets fired still? So, I mean, the Falcons did play a lot better down the stretch. Winners of 4 straight games. I mean, they finished the season at 7-9.
I don't think that he gets fired. The Falcons have been kind of like, hey, we're gonna bring him back for one more year.
But what did you say yesterday?
He enters the hot seat hotter than any coach next year.
If you also said what? If there's one coach that gets fired midway through the
It's
season,
probably Dan Quinn. Now, I know the ownership does not like midseason moves, why they didn't make one this year. But if they start the year 1-5, they're gonna pull the plug because they've seen that story several years now. Of well, we didn't start very well, and then we got going after the fact. Doesn't really do a whole lot for you. So I think it's safe for now. But if there is a midseason firing, I'm looking at Dan Quinn pretty heavily there.
let's go to Eric Burton. What up, my man? What is Dwayne Haskins' trade value?
I think the Reds start trading him though. So
I mean, if you try to trade him, I mean, what? You probably get a
I
second
think
or a
you
third?
probably get more than a second.
I don't
Probably
know.
get a first, late
I
first
feel like if
maybe.
if you're like trading him,
I mean, Josh Rosen went for a second, so
that's true.
I think at minimum that's your value. But I think it'd be a first rounder. But I don't know why the Redskins would do that.
Let's go to the source. So anytime that we say we got a source, here you go. Will Belichick jump ship when Brady retires?
It's a weird way to phrase it. I do think they ride off into the sunset together. I think that.
So if they win the Super Bowl this year,
I don't know. I thought they could have done that last year. I think Brady's also maybe a little bit aware of. Oh God, it's starting to go a little bit for him. I will say this though, some of the greats at the quarterback position, they end up playing somewhere else in that final year. Joe Montana with the Chiefs, Brett Favre with a couple different teams, Peyton Manning with the Denver Broncos, and normally ends kind of gross. I'd kind of prefer to see Brady just go out on top as best he can.
let's go to Terrence Williams. All right, what up, my man? Gruden loves journeyman quarterbacks. Do you think he'll go after Fitzpatrick or Mariota to compete with Carr? I've seen a lot of people want Marcus Mariota, and I get that for a lot of the West Coasters out there. And also, for some reason, Raider fans are just obsessed with the idea of having a mobile quarterback that can run the football. But, I mean, we don't honestly think that Ryan Fitzpatrick or Marcus Mariota are better than Derek Carr, do we?
Especially not after seeing Ryan Tannehill play so well in place of Marcus Mariota. Like, Fitzpatrick doesn't do anything for you.
I mean, Marcus Mariota has one of the most talented, I'll say, offensive cores in terms of you got a great running back, your wide receivers are great, you had a solid tight end, couldn't get it done, and then Ryan Tannehill just goes in and looks like an absolute
Balls
world
out,
beater.
yeah. So I don't.
I mean, I love Ryan Fitzpatrick, but I'll take Derek Carr. If y'all hate turnovers, you're not going to like Ryan Fitzpatrick. I can guarantee you that.
Fitzpatrick's a more aggressive quarterback, at least. I think
He is.
An issue, so.
But also, if you don't have the offensive personnel to throw it down the field, it's not really easy to throw it down the field. So, Terrence, I appreciate the question. If you're a Raiders fan, check out my show, youtube.com/RaidersReport, the most watched Raiders show in the internet. And we ask this question a lot.
In the internet. Heard it here
Yeah.
from Mitch Renz first.
Yeah.
We are in the computer.
In the computer. Will Carr be the Raiders quarterback in 2020? Type 4 for yes. Type 0 for no. Believe it, baby. Tuck rule, tuck that. What do you want?
I think yes, but I think they're going to explore it again.
I mean, they
So
should.
I think they should.
I will say, though, I think they need to put a little bit more competition behind Derek Carr. I mean, Mike Glennon, let's be real. Nathan
you're
Peterman,
saying
let's be real.
sign a Ryan Fitzpatrick or a Marcus Mariota.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I don't, because I still think Marcus Mariota is going to go for a lot. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick is at least shown.
I don't think Mariota's going to go for a lot.
How much?
$10 million per year max. And I mean max.
Wow.
And that's kind of the going rate for a higher-end backup quarterback. It might be more like 7.
I mean, maybe.
Hey, no one's going to sign him to be a starter. Bears, I think, should bring in Mariota to help compete with Trubisky. I think that's a good idea.
Okay. So will Carr be the Raiders quarterback in 2020? Type 4 for yes. Type 0 for no. Tom said that he thought Mariota to the Bears would be a good idea. But here's a better idea. Go to BetDSI. Use that promo code NFL120 for 120% deposit bonus. So I'm seeing a lot of people that love the NFL here in the chat. We appreciate that. Go out and support our sponsors as well. They keep the lights on here. Go to chatsports.com/bet. BetDSI is the internet's #1 sports book. We love y'all, so that's why we're hooking you up with the deal. 120% deposit bonus. Let's go to John. Looks like a Kentucky fan. Go Blue. John, you can also bet on college basketball as well at BetDSI. Yeah. Should the Bucs trade Jameis Winston?
Eric Burton was right in the comments. A franchise tag and a trade is the only way that they can do that. So I don't really see any reason why a team would take on Jameis Winston at like almost $30 million and then agree to trade for him and give up an asset. Like I don't think there's going to be any trade interest in Jameis Winston. So I think the Bucs are going to try and franchise tag and roll with him beyond that.
Oh boy. So what should the Bucs do with Winston? Should you trade him? Should you keep him? I don't know what you do with Jameis.
Dump him. Like it's not working. Jameis Winston is the same guy he's been his entire football career. Reckless on the field, just makes some great throws, makes some god-awful ones, wins you some games, lose you a lot as well. He's not going to change. Move on from him. I don't know if that's what Bruce Arians wants, but he's not the guy.
I mean, there's a lot of fantasy owners out there that are saying, but Tom, Jameis Winston, #2 quarterback overall this year in fantasy points. Maybe they should keep him. I don't know. Yep, same time. All right, let's go to John Asplin Jr. And John, and anybody who's watching right now, if we don't get to your questions, remember that if you use hashtag NFL, you can always hit up Tom and I. Tom's Twitter's down below at WhatGoingDowney. So if we do miss any of your questions, just hit up Tom at WhatGoingDowney. What round does Texas wide receiver Devon
Duvernay
get drafted in?
You want to try it again?
Duvernay.
There you go. He's an interesting player.
I almost said Duvet.
He really helped out his draft stock this year. Had a good year for Texas. I like him as a slot receiver. It's a really strong receiver class, so I'm curious to see how he measures in at the combine, where exactly he finishes at. But I'd strongly consider him in round 4. I think he'd be a really good round 4 player and comes and helps you right away. I think that's about where he ends up going. Maybe, plus or minus around, potentially.
John, you seem to be a college football fan. You're curious about Devon Duvernay.
There you go.
So if you and anybody else out there wants a mock draft, this is what we need you to do. We need you to sub right now. Tom and I, we're trying to get to 149K subscribers. We need 301, okay? 301 subscribers, and we'll be breaking out a mock draft. So if you're a big college football fan, if you're just a mock draft junkie, should probably go get a drink with Tom because there's nobody that I think loves the NFL draft more than Tom.
Maybe he'll come out tomorrow. Who knows?
Maybe Tom will come out tomorrow. Who
knows?
No, do you want a mock draft? If yes, then subscribe. We need 301 for 149K. Tom loves the draft.
Yeah, I do.
Maybe yes, but I'm already subscribed from Eric Burton. Well, tell your friends, Eric. Let's go to Leafs fan YouTube 2858. Everyone's saying the Pats dynasty is over. Is it? Because I don't believe it until I see it.
I
totally agree.
I agree with my Canadian friend here. Until it's over, you just got to assume it's not yet. Because every year we try to write off the Patriots kind of early on in the season, and every year it's like, oh no, that's what you thought, you losers. So I will believe it when it's done and or Brady is gone and Belichick gone.
John Henley says, I'm subbed, and yes, do a draft. Then take
John.
that link, youtube.com/chatsportstv, John. Send it to your friends. Tell them to subscribe. We need some subscribers to do a mock draft. Looks like we got another question rolling in, and to get your questions on the show, use hashtag NFL, just like Aiden Ferns did. Better new stadium, Raiders or Rams, Chargers? I think it's easy.
Yeah, okay, what are you going with?
It's Raiders Stadium.
I know you're going with that one.
Raiders Stadium's beautiful.
That one looks so cool from the outside.
It's beautiful.
I do wonder if the actual stadium itself, if SoFi, which is going to be the Rams Stadium, is going to be a little bit better. But just purely based on aesthetics, really kind of all we can judge it on right now. Raiders, which I will call the Death Star, looks awesome.
It's called the Owl.
Call it the Death Star.
It's called the Owl. It's called the owl. Somebody just asked me, why am I wearing a button-up shirt? Because I wear button-up shirts on Chat Sports NFL Daily. I'm sorry, but I'm seeing a lot of Raiders. I'm seeing a lot of Raiders in there. So, better new stadium, Raiders or Rams/Chargers? We'll ask you guys. So, type 1 for the Las Vegas Raiders new stadium.
It's not Oakland anymore.
Las
Vegas. But
and then
you
type
guys know
2
what
for
we mean.
the Rams and Chargers. I'll say this, though. I don't understand why you're building a stadium for teams that have no fan bases. I get it. They're hosting the Olympics in 2020. But, like...
Well, I mean, like, once you move there, you have to have a stadium.
That's like building a home and not living in it.
No, it's... What? You have a team there. You need a home. That analogy is moving where you don't have a home.
I don't know.
If you move teams there, you need a stadium.
There's not going to be anyone there. There's no one at the games.
Oh,
Nobody goes to Rams games. Nobody goes to Chargers games.
But that's an argument against the Rams and Chargers moving to LA in the first place.
Terrence Williams said Death Star is tight.
Yeah, that's what you call it. But once you're there, you need a place to play. So I don't really get your
There's
argument.
one answer here. It's one. I mean, Raider
Death
Nation's
Star
going to travel.
looks cooler.
No, it's going to be called the Owl. It's called the Owl.
Oh,
Let's
Death
go to
Star.
RPC Vlogs. What up, dude? Do the Jets trade Le'Veon Bell? I'll tell you what, when the Jets traded for Le'Veon Bell, I looked a lot like your picture. Because I got it right. We predicted that one correct here at Chat Sports. We do a whole bunch of videos on the entire offseason as well. Just because the season's going on, we will be live doing a whole bunch of shows even during the offseason. That's why we're telling you guys to subscribe, so that way you stay up to date. So do the Jets trade Le'Veon Bell, Tom?
They will, I think, attempt to. The problem is that...
Do you really want him?
Yeah, his contract is not really all that great for a trade. His next team is still going to have to pay him $13.5 million next year. That's still one of the highest paid backs in the NFL. I don't know if there's going to be much interest in Lev Bell. Do you want a dark horse team, by the way?
Steelers.
Steelers. So I think there will be some interest, but you're not going to get much for him. Because of that contract, you save a ton of money, but I don't know if that's really going to be the route the Jets are able to go in the end.
Let's get another question here rolling in from Karen. What up? Will the Cowboys re-sign Amari Cooper? I've heard reports that they won't be able to afford him.
Yeah, I know those reports. Those reports are basically bullshit. They can afford Amari Cooper if they want to. The Cowboys have tons of cap space. So, I mean, Karen, if you're not subscribed, go subscribe to our Cowboys report. We'll set you straight and give you the good information on our Cowboys channel. They've got cap space. If they really wanted to, they could re-sign Amari Cooper, Dak Prescott, Byron Jones, and Quinn. I don't know if that's the route they're going to go because it is expensive, but they can absolutely assign those players in